welcome to How to Repair. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to actually dismantle this machine so you can gain access to all the components within the machine. I'll also be talking to you about some of the problems that these machines have. This machine has a sealed drum and the bearings have collapsed. If you were going to buy a new drum, it is not really economic because the drum will cost you in excess of £150, but it is possible sometimes to source a second-hand machine which may have a good drum in it, but it may have an electrical problem, and therefore you'd be able to take the drum out of that machine and put it into this machine. A lot of the drums are very common. This is a Hotpoint machine. It's also part of the manufacturing group, which is Hotpoint Indesit Whirlpool, Ariston, Jackson and so on. A lot of the drums are the same throughout the whole range of machines, but you will need to find the part number for your existing drum to be able to find the other machines that the drum fits, and therefore you'd be able to find a machine with electrical problems, take the drum out of that machine and put it into this machine. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you actually how to take the drum out of this machine, and in the process we'll go through how to replace all the components on the machine, and what I'll also be doing is saving the parts which are good on this machine. The only thing that's wrong with this machine is the drum. And what I'll be doing is saving all the machines, and I'll be selling them through my recycling appliance outlet to try and help the environment and make machines last a little bit longer, and also saving you money in the process. We also sell new parts for this machine like door seal, shock absorbers, door interlock, hinges and so on, which are the affordable parts, but sometimes motors and printed circuit boards and drums make it uneconomical to repair the machine. Manufacturers are being held accountable in the future to actually make machines more repairable. There's new legislation coming into place with that over the course of this year. So let's get on with stripping this machine. As you can see on this machine, all the functional parts have been tested. I checked the machine's heating correctly, it's washing, drums rotating, so I know all the components on this machine are good apart from the drum itself. Right, the first thing we need to do with the machine is always disconnect it from the electricity supply. I'm going to remove the lid first, and I'm going to take off the door for you. When taking a drum out of the machine, it is very important that you organise all the screws, nuts and bolts, because there are maybe 20 to 30 different types of screw that are designed to go in steel, plastic, into hinges which are threaded. So we'll remove the door. This will stop the door getting scratched in the process. Now I'm going to remove the outer part of the seal, because when you're removing a drum, this can normally get caught up. The spring has already been removed on this washing machine for some reason. And I'm going to take the seal off the drum itself, because the drum lifts out of the machine. The front panel does not come off. So just by pushing down, we can remove the door seal. There's a spring that holds it in place with a wire band. Now we can lift the machine out and start dismantling the machine to take the drum out. The first thing we want to do is remove this steel bar at the top. Keep the screws all organised. Now we want to remove the soap drawer and the soap housing. These doors are notorious for breaking on the hinges, so be careful. There's 2 screws hidden inside. These again are special screws that go into plastic. That's all loose. Now we want to remove the facial panel. 2 screws on top. There's a couple of clips down the bottom and one hidden under the soap drawer. Then the electrical panel comes away. 1 electrical connection on the circuit board. Different models will vary. Next we want to remove the soap box itself. So there's 2 screws at the back. 1 holding the valve, 1 holding the cover. This comes away. Then we need to remove the wiring from the 2 water valves. On some models you may have 3 or 4 water valves. There's a little clip that lifts up. Then we're going to remove the tub filler hose off the soap box. Little piece of rubber that holds it in place. And then carefully ease it down. And your soap box can come out. Next I'm going to remove the concrete block, because when trying to take these drums out through the top of the machine, they are exceedingly heavy. Once all 3 are undone, lift it off. When replacing it, do not use an impact driver. Do it mechanically with your hand spanner, otherwise you might shear the plastic. Then we need to remove the pressure switch to get this out of the way. Carefully twist the hose. There is a clip there, it will come off easily. Now these pressure switches are a little bit awkward to get off. You've got to release 2 tags, 1 on each side, and then you can get the pressure switch off. Again, a little plug. When it comes to the electrics, it's always good to photograph anything that you're unfamiliar with or something you might forget, like the water valves, which wire goes on which. Some of them have plugs which can only go in one way, but not always. Right, we've got to this stage now, and we need to remove the back of the machine, disconnect the hoses on the bottom. This slides out. Remove the belt off the motor, just ease it up, twist it round, belt will come away. Now we need to disconnect the motor. This machine is a brushless motor. The new motors now are 3-phase motor run by a circuit board. The reason the manufacturers do these, I prefer the old motors with carbon brushes, but the new motors are more economic to manufacture, but the circuit boards can fail on regular occasions. Then we lift the motor off. Sometimes you will need to use a screwdriver and prise it. That is a 3-phase induction motor. We know it's good. we're going to label this up and put it onto our eBay store because it's a good motor. That would normally cost £160. Someone will be able to get that for £40–50. Next we need to disconnect the wiring. Be careful when pulling wires off because these edges are very sharp. NTC sensor located in the heater. This tells the machine what temperature the water is at. 2 wires for the element. I've already tested the element when it was on a heat cycle. It's below 30 milliamp standard, it's in good condition, so that element can also be taken out of the machine, but I won't show you that. Now with these plastic lugs you have 2 ways of getting these off. Either you can cut the zip tie, or if you're careful you can go round the back, press the lugs in. Sometimes they're a little bit funny, and these will pop off. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is the suspension system, and we need to disconnect the hoses at the bottom of the machine. Right, next we're going to lay the machine on its front so we can undo the hoses and the suspension. Make sure you put a towel down so you don't scratch the panel. Lean the machine over. We need to undo the sump hose. This just pulls off. On some models there is a tennis ball, plastic ball in the bottom here, which is an anti-siphon device. That can always be cleaned up, it normally clogs. Then we need to undo these 2 nuts. Now the drum is ready to come out. You can either slide the drum out on the carpet. You will need a couple of you to help get it over the edges. I have a different system because this is my workshop, but I'll show you the principle now. Lift the machine back up carefully. You will get a bit of water on the floor. Okay, at this point you would normally have to put either 2 people lifting the drum out together, or you would have to possibly put a bar in with 2 people lifting. I'm lucky that I have a hoist, so I'll just put some chain on here. Put the concrete screws in part of the way. Bring the machine to central. Right, as you lift the machine, take out the 2 springs. Do make notes that they went on the first lug on this one, on the chassis. So I'll take the 2 springs out. Then carefully lifting the machine not to catch any wire. Take the drum out completely. Now while it's up in the air, with replacing the drum, if you are replacing it for a new one, you have to remove the shock absorbers, and they're held on with 2 pins. You will also have to remove the concrete block, so I'm going to take that off first to reduce the weight. I'm also going to have to replace the hoses onto the new drum. Again, that just twists off. And as I said, we've got to remove these. Now the best way that I find to do this is these pins, if you just put a bit of tension, then press the clip, then you're able to slide it out. There's your shock absorber. Now we'll do the other side. Again, just push it out, put a little bit of tension on it. Once you've got that pin released, and there we go. Of course, some of the drums might come with the heater already inserted. Some of the drums you might need to replace the heater from the old drum, so I'll just quickly undo this. Undo the nut until it comes to the end. Give the nut a little tap. This releases the pressure off the seal. Sometimes these are very difficult to get out, other times they are easy. If they're difficult, it's a good idea to remove the NTC sensor, and this will give you a little bit more movement to try and get the seal out. Sometimes these are very difficult to get out. Once you've got one side well, as you can see, the seals, that nut actually compresses the seal, and sometimes they are very difficult to get out. And there you go. To replace the drum, just repeat the process in reverse. Make sure that you do up the plastic carefully with a hand ratchet, not the impactor, because you might strip the plastic. Remember, at the website we do all the new spares for these appliances, but occasionally we do have recycled parts out of good machines which only had major components fail, like the drum. Hope you found this helpful. Thanks very much indeed for watching. And remember, if you want to support the website, you can always support the website by clicking on the Buy Paula Beer page. Thanks again for watching.